But yeah, but then you would have got the other crowd that would have been like, but it's not coming accurate. Why wouldn't you just have it be in the
There's
Avengers
so
Tower that
many
we've been
things not
wanting to
coming
know who bought the
accurate.
Avengers Tower for like the last
Majority
10 years?
has it. You can say it wasn't finished. He has other facilities. Go there.
Welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Josh and Alex.
And today we're talking about Thunderbolts, or I guess what movie's called now, the New Avengers.
Whoa, spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, it's been out for a while now, so I feel like it's safe to put that in the title. I mean, Marvel did it after the first weekend, so...
Yeah, that's crazy of them. Let's just say that. Obviously, this is a spoiler-filled video, but this is also coming out 2 weeks after the release. For them, the weekend after it's reviewed already be doing stuff, or came out, it's a bit insane, I think.
What do you mean? That's the theme of the movie, man. Even the end credit scene spoils another movie that's coming out.
Oh, you don't know that?
At least confirms what we all thought.
Confirms
Yeah.
nothing. I don't know what he's talking about. I didn't even stay for the end credit scene, actually. I wanted to be surprised. Yeah, obviously, like you said, we're talking about Thunderbolts, aka New Avengers. And as we have commented, this will be a full spoiler review. So if you have not seen whatever you want to technically call it, go check that out. Save this video, come back and watch it after. But yeah, I feel like let's just get right into arguably the Marvel movie. I mean, I'll just say it, the Marvel movie that kind of is bringing Marvel back to prominence. I feel like a lot of reviews are the same thing of, I remember when Marvel felt like this consistently, which is you had a great time and you're happy leaving the theater.
Bro, it was deeper than like anything Marvel has done in like a hot minute. Like
Okay, guy didn't see the Marvels.
deeper than okay. Nah,
Wow.
I'm gonna choose
Wow.
to ignore you. I'm gonna choose to ignore that.
Wow. Silence the white guy, man. Classic.
The
That's
real thing is
crazy.
he's gonna
Says
choose
the
to
guy who
ignore.
hasn't even seen the Marvels. Yeah, to have like the main character, like the main bad guy, like basically like the ending not be like a generic Marvel ending, and have them pull it off as good as they did. I feel like that alone just sets this movie apart. Like it
Well-
actually tackles like, well, hold on.
You can make a case the ending was similar to other movies of the ending is the power of friendship will save you, as we just saw in Captain America, where, you know, he talks down the Hulk. This isn't like you. You could argue the savior of this movie was the power of friendship.
If you say that, I think you're just a yapper and you're fucking annoying. You're just stupid. Just stop watching movies then. Just stop watching movies. If that's your argument against this film, just stop watching.
That's crazy. This will be my last episode, as I will no longer
If
be
that's
watching
your
it.
gripe, if that's your gripe of the movie, I will stand on it saying that it's just stupid. Just shut up, man. You're just hating the hate. Like, holy shit. You know, just let Sentry just kill everybody. Fine. Just end it all.
I'm in.
Yeah, you can make that argument, the power of friendship for Captain America. Yeah, that's lame as hell. This one was not a power of friendship type ending. It was a full film setup to lead to that ending. It's not like Suicide Squad's the one that is a prime example of this kind of group, the one of 2016, where it was the power of friendship, where he's fucking flaming on. He's like, dude, don't do it. And then he doesn't kill everybody. Yeah.
Also, El Diablo sacrificed his life. They just didn't acknowledge it after the fact. I'm like, that's crazy. This guy literally just killed himself to save everybody, and we don't even get a mention of him. Nuts.
Yeah. It's just... Anyways, continue. Alex.
Oh well, I guess on that note, like we did mention, this kind of is Marvel's Suicide Squad. If you want to like do some sort of comparisons, you know, it's a bunch of antiheroes, I guess is what we're gonna call them. Some were villains in other projects. Some were like slowly becoming villains, and they never quite got there. So that's what I'm kind of saying. They're antiheroes, and they're overall not great people. I guess they've made a lot of mistakes, and that's kind of what that's kind of like the common thread between all of the members of the Thunderbolts or New Avengers. For the purposes of this, until we get to that point, I'm going to call them the Thunderbolts, since that's what they call themselves for majority of the film. And then we can talk about the end credit scene. But yeah, so the Thunderbolts consist of Red Guardian. Yelena, John Walker, Ghost for about 2 minutes, Taskmaster, and of
Gone
course,
but not forgotten.
and then Sentry, or Bob actually, Bob. So and Bucky, but you know, how do you guys feel about certain, like, I guess I want to ask about certain characters that maybe didn't get quite as much love in the film, and mainly like Bucky, of course. I feel like a lot of his story has already been told, especially like, and he said himself, like, when he was talking to them, he's already past the point that these guys are at. So like, in a way, I get it why he's there, and it makes sense, and it feels right that he's there. But then at the same time, I also understand why they didn't go as far as to show like a lot of the stuff that he's already been through. Because I mean, again, he's already been through it. We've already seen it, especially in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, him getting over that trauma. So I feel like, to me, it didn't really impact the film negatively. So I don't know how you guys felt about some of the underutilization of certain characters.
Well, I think did you see the clip about the director talking that they wanted to do everybody's, like, basically their nightmare, like, escape room? Yeah. And one day, I don't know if you guys saw, but Bucky comes out of his room when he's coming to go to where, like, Bob is and everybody. When he enters the scene, it looks like the chair from the Winter Soldier. So I don't know if you guys saw that. I thought that was cool. It seems like they're definitely trying to.
Yeah, I saw a clip that he was coming out of like a Hydra thing that we're assuming it was similar to, like, we saw in Falcon, or not, that was in Winter Soldier actually, where he was like begging them to not kind of reset him, so you can assume that's probably the exact one that he was going through. But I mean, I think they did a good job of giving a good amount of I mean, obviously you have a lot of characters in this movie. It's not a long movie at all. I mean, it's 2 hours 6 minutes, so it's relatively short. But they do a good job of giving a lot of good screen time to everybody. Like you said, you can't dive super deep into everybody, but I feel like they didn't like super underutilize anybody. Obviously, you know, Taskmaster got, you know, the short end of the stick, and you know, R.I.P. But
that's so funny.
I think you could still kind of make a case that Ghost, again, is very much put in the back of everything. She doesn't get as much time of actually getting more into her, which I'm personally a little bit like, come on, because I love Ant-Man too, and I think Ghost is a dope character. So like, if I could get more Ghost, I'd be happy. But I don't think anybody else, you know, it's not like a huge like, damn, Ghost. Like, she got a good amount of screen time and stuff going on, but I think she's really the only one you can make a somewhat a case for, kind of got under, you know, utilized in this movie. But like you said, Bucky maybe didn't get super deep in, but he has been in the MCU for so long and had an entire show that I get them kind of using him when they needed to, but not the forefront of this, which I was okay with. But yeah, I mean, I think they did a good job balancing. Like you said, if they did everyone's kind of void, it might have, you know, been cool to get a little bit deeper in everybody, but I'm not sitting here like, damn, they fumbled it by not doing that. I'm perfectly okay with what they did do.
Agreed.
I think they did a perfect amount of Bucky. I know some people are complaining that, at least as a narrative that's growing on TikTok, that there was not enough of him. Dude, there was plenty.
I didn't know that was a thing.
He had his moments for sure. Like, I mean, he was back to that kind of badass form that he had. Well, I mean, listen. I think I know what you're talking about, and it's that big moment when he fights Sentry. But I mean, it's Sentry. Like,
no, I was gonna say that's not what I was gonna talk about. I've seen everyone dick riding his scene of where he saves the Thunderbolts with the things, and people are like, "Damn, Bucky he had a score, like his aura's back." That just shows you how down bad people are for Bucky to have some kind of aura, because that scene was. Realistically, it was pretty mid. Let's think about it. There was 3 Humvees he took out. We didn't even see him take out 2 of them, essentially. The one just blew up randomly, and then the second one, you just saw a grenade thing stick to it and blow up, and then we saw him, and like, him taking out that one was okay, but like, I saw a lot of people were like going crazy for that scene. I'm like, damn, that kind of emphasizes how much Bucky's been nerfed since not being the Winter Soldier, that people were like eating that clip up. I was like, he drove up on the truck. I don't know if it was manned by like somebody had a remote control inside shooting that gunner, or it was like supposed to be a computer that aimed it because we didn't actually see somebody shooting it. He just drives up and on his bike and like leans to the side and it misses all of him. And I'm like, okay, I feel like that should have got a little bit better, you know? And then like, yeah, him taking the shotgun was cool. Him cocking and shooting the thing and pulling it. I was like, okay, that was okay. But I've seen people like go crazy for that scene. I'm like,
yeah, and I'm one of them.
I'm one of them. That's how down bad people are for Bucky to not suck because he has.
It was okay. A fun scene. It's just supposed to be fun.
It is a fun scene, and on the same side as Josh on this. Like I just like seeing a character kind of resemble essence of what he was, and I understand it from Marvel's perspective, and it's kind of that same thing of like, have you guys ever had to like play a game where you have to beat a boss and then you unlock the boss afterwards, and he's not as fucking powerful as he was when you were fighting against him when he was the villain? Yeah, that's kind of what the Winter Soldier is. Like when he was 100%. Under the mind control, he was just a full-on brain dead savage with one mission and one mission only. This is now Bucky, who is like way beyond that now. He actually has a conscience, and he's trying to be a better person. So yeah, maybe he's not gonna just go on a full rampage and be at that level again. But
he's 100% lost all aura. It is what it is. Bucky has no. Yeah, he has no aura anymore.
He's in the rebuild, bro, and this was part of it. Okay, he had a top 30 pick. All right, and he did a decent landing. All right, and we're gonna see it build.
Nah, this is no Grey Zabel.
Shut up. No, I think it was a fun scene. It was fun score, and then also led to just a funny joke as well when it came to US Agent. Just him, just oh shit moment. I just remember.
Yeah, I wish that wasn't. Yeah, I wish that wasn't spoiled in the trailer. It definitely would have been way more funnier. It was
for me. I avoided that. I erased that all from my memory, so I was able to enjoy that moment.
I don't know how you can. It was the ending scene in every single trailer they've been showing.
That shit was on mute when in the theaters. You know, I literally had my eyes closed, and it was just like la la. I was not letting them ruin this fucking movie for me when I waited.
And now, if we want to talk about who actually has aura, when Sentry finally understood his power, bro, that right there is something.
Different.
Something that Marvel cooked on, dude. That looked so clean. Him just piecing them all up. He was sick.
I gotta give it to the actor Louis Pullman, who actually kind of made it feel like three distinct characters: Bob, the Void, Sentry, with like his mannerisms, the way he was moving. Because yeah, you're 100% right. When he became Sentry, and he was like, "No, you guys don't want this," and he was just moving different. He had his like hands together, he literally let Red Guardian with his knife start stabbing him, and he was just kind of just not even. He was like unfazed. That's exactly like the word for it. He's unfazed the entire time. He was taking on the whole team, and they were getting their ass beat. That was a World Star ass whooping if I've ever seen one, and they knew it too because Ghost was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take Bucky's arm and we're gonna get the fuck out of here because this is not we are not built for this." So yeah, I agree that scene once he finally becomes Sentry, yeah, not that cold, absolutely cold, and I'm excited that he's not dead, like Blake said, he's not dead. He is coming back. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm interested for sure.
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't get hulked, where he gets ruined. But I do think, they're definitely going to make him be kind of like that power scaling character for Doom. And I think we're going to see a scene like we probably saw in the opening of Infinity War, where Thanos just beat the fuck out of Hulk. I think there might be a scene where we see that when it comes to Sentry. Because it just besides it just as being a cool scene, there just had to be a reason why they had a quick show in a few minutes span of just how powerful this guy is. Yeah.
I think a part of it is just to add the fact that we finally have somebody of power now back on Earth, because obviously Hulk is, like you said, is completely screwed. We don't really have, we had She-Hulk, but she's only been in TV shows. We have no idea if how much that'll be.
Yeah.
And then you have characters like Thor, who's off-world a majority of the time. I mean, now it seems he probably permanently is. And then same with Captain Marvel, who she's constantly off-world because of her abilities. I think Sentry just finally gives Earth like a super strong, like he mentioned, godlike character that we finally have like a powerful being on Earth. What seems like full time. Obviously, we don't know mentally how much he's there, with kind of the end talking about where he can't be Sentry without, you know, the Void kind of being a part of it. So we'll see. But I don't think we'll see anything like that, at least in Doomsday, of him, you know, fighting Doctor Doom and peace, you know, him beating up Sentry. I just think it is to kind of give us a powerful human or character, because Earth is a little light in the completely
heavy
dominant
hitter department.
Yeah, like we got a lot of decent characters, but like let's be real here. You know what I mean? Like, what is Red Guardian or Yelena or Bucky or really anybody part of the Thunderbolts gonna do to like a major threat?
I mean, you just saw it. Like you said, Bucky, super soldier. Red Guardian, super soldier. John Walker, super soldier. And he pieced all three of them up. He bent the shield like it was nothing. Yeah, so like when you have 3-on-1 and 3 of those are super soldiers and you beat their ass, yeah, that just shows you, I don't know, this guy's on a different power level than anyone else. Probably on par with Captain Marvel, probably. At the moment. Like, because, like...
That's absurd to say.
What do you mean?
Absurd to say.
I mean, is that?
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's interesting you choose... What about Wanda? Is he on par with Wanda, too?
Is she still alive?
Are you just going to say all the female strong characters he's automatically on par with, even though we only saw him for, like, 5 minutes? That's a bit crazy to me. I don't know. Why didn't you say Thor? Why'd you choose Captain Marvel?
Because I feel like he could probably beat Thor.
Probably. Oh, so he definitely can beat Captain Marvel, but he definitely
I said
can't beat
on
Thor?
par.
That's insane. Wow.
I said on par. I said that on par, which means that they could fight and it could end in a draw.
That's what I'm saying. This guy watched the Marvels? No way.
I'm just saying.
He had his eyes
crazy.
Closed. Okay, I want to say another big plus for this movie as being one of the few, I think, initial fans of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. I think this is just another movie that comes out that is just making that show better in my eyes. I've watched it 2 times, that show, and the second time I enjoyed it even more. And dude, U.S. Agent, Wyatt Russell, man, he's doing great with him. I think he's a solid character. He's so fun. He was funny. And also it kind of just very shortly just showed that he definitely has a different, you know, serum when he does just a massive jump out of nowhere. It was kind of funny, but let's see if we ever see that again, or if that's I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to take it as a joke and we'll move on. Okay. And I'll just forget about it. And that's what I did with a lot of this movie. I sat back and said, I'm just going to just enjoy the film. Because, yes, I think any Marvel movies that come out now, you could just ridicule it to death, for sure. Yeah, he's great. And, of course, I enjoy Bucky. And then just a few ending there, too, about the fact that him and Sam are kind of beefing and seeing the emotions from that. I'm very excited to see what happens with that kind of trio of characters in the next coming movies. And definitely my enjoyment of the next coming movies will definitely be dependent on how they treat those 3. They better not just be like pushed to the side when it comes to their relationship. Worry's gonna happen.
I 100% accept that to happen.
Yeah, but I'd be remiss if we did not mention probably the lead of the film, and at least definitely emotionally, because this was a very Yelena forward story, and Florence Pugh killed it. I mean, every scene she's in, she's pretty much a scene stealer. Obviously, we mentioned John Walker, amazing, funny. Everyone that at least survived the initial encounter at the beginning of the film, then when they formed a team, they really like bounced off each other. Like they're different ways of acting. Obviously, at first they're all like they don't trust each other because of obviously their line of work isn't exactly they don't employ people for their honesty. They're employed because of what they do, and that includes a lot of bad shit. So once they do form that team, you definitely feel her as like the natural leader, and then obviously you have John Walker and Red Guardian, who think they're the leaders, but obviously that's the joke, that they're not really the leaders. But yeah, she did a really good job. So shout out Florence Pugh for doing a hell of a job. And I've seen a lot of people say that she might have already surpassed Scarlett Johansson. I don't know if I'm there yet, but it's definitely a conversation.
I definitely ain't Scarlett's fault for that. Let's just say that. She was
she went through some dark times. Tough to succeed as a woman with Joss Whedon as your director.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like the only other person to really mention before kind of getting to, post credit and that kind of thing is Val, Valentina herself. Obviously, this was her second appearance. She was in.
Technically third, if we're counting like small cameos, but yeah, she was in. She was at the end of Black Widow when she recruits Yelena, and she sends her. Oh shit! In Black Panther 2, and then again in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So this would be her fourth.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Her first bigger role. Yeah.
Right. This was her first major role, and she definitely was an interesting character. I was a little about the ending with her, of them kind of being the ones to own her with the whole thing of them not being the Avengers. I was like, okay, obviously they could do something with her where she is, but she is kind of known for being more like in control of everything. So like that part, I was a little bit like, okay, in her first one, for her to get kind of outplayed by them is a little whatever, but who knows where that's going to go? And honestly, who knows how much confidence I have on where that's going to go with. Obviously, we have Doomsday and stuff. I don't know how much Val is going to have a big part of that stuff, so I doubt much. But overall, yeah, she was fantastic. She was a great, villain, kind of overseeing everything. Her assistant Mal was dope too for what kind of little bit she got in this movie. But yeah, I think Val did a great job as, a villain who was more of not like the powerful. Yeah, just like the overseeing kind of, not physically, doing something, but more just overseeing, using her brains and that kind of ability. She was also a really dope, fun character, which definitely helped the movie to have, this cool villain that they were going after that, was good.
Right. She's definitely going to take up that role that we're going to be missing for Thaddeus Ross, because, Harrison Ford's never making a return. So she's taking that mantle for sure. And I'm totally cool with that. I think she's been dope. I've been excited about her since we first saw her. I am curious about her assistant, Mel, if she will actually turn into anything more, because I know she's supposed to actually be like an actual comic character called Songbird. Don't know much about it. Just know that is an actual character. Or so we'll see if anything actually happens with that, or if it'll be like one of these Disney Plus characters that just nothing happens. But see, I don't know. I like the ending.
I would agree with you if it was on Disney Plus, but then this is a movie, so I feel like I have a little more optimism when it comes to these.
I just know I burned too many times. So
right, true.
Take it what we got right now. But for me, I enjoyed the fact that she just pulled a quick one to survive with the new Avengers. And I think it works, and the marketing for this of it quickly turning into the new Avengers is kind of going to be spinning in and help feed that like Secret Wars movie that's coming. Because I think it's obvious that everyone kind of felt bad about that last Captain America film, and Sam, even in this film, is kind of getting a bad light. So I think there will be kind of that split, a better split than what we got when we got Civil War. Because that was just a fake fight. Let's be honest. It was just fun. We were 16. We're just picking sides for fun of who our favorite character was. And they had kind of an argument with only really just 3 characters with Iron Man, Bucky, and Cap. It wasn't full teams. Well, this one, it can be now full teams of 2 different Avengers. There's so many characters. I mean, also just think about, Thor 2, who he's probably going to be on Sam Wilson's side when he comes.
If he comes.
So it really is of whose side's going on what. But I enjoyed it. Marketing definitely is helping, and it's interesting ending.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we can just kind of quickly get into the end credit scene and give our ratings here. Um, I feel like honestly we might make. I mean, that is part. Obviously, there's the joke end credit, little mid credit, I guess it was, of David Harbour, Red Guardian being at the grocery store, the Wheaties thing.
Yeah.
And then we get really the big, what this was for sure the longest MCU post credit scene. I think they said it was almost like 3 minutes long. And it has came out that actually the Russos were the ones who directed this. The director said he kind of just stood and watched it. He didn't have Matt Shagman. No.
Yeah. Josh. Or isn't it?
I think Shagman's the one doing
Fantastic Four.
I can't think of this director.
Jake Sure, is that his name?
I feel like it was also
Jake
an S
Schreier.
last name. Schreier, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said he just kind of watched this was the Russos doing it. Obviously, we have, the Avengers come up to their tower and they're, like, oh, we're getting, Sam. Apparently, they're coming after us for the Avengers. And they're all like talking about on social media, like, oh, I think people are going to side with the other people now being the event. This was 14 months after the end of the movie. And, they're like, oh, I think people are going to side with Sam Wilson's Avengers, like, whatever. And then Florence Pugh, I think the real thing was Florence Pugh was, Yelena saying to Bucky, like, didn't you talk to him? And Bucky just said something along the lines like, it didn't go very well.
Yeah.
And wasn't there something else after that? Did he just say it didn't go very well? Or did he say something like, it didn't go very well? Like, we're still at odds or something along the lines of...
I feel like it was something like that.
It was something along the lines of, like, it's bigger than just like, oh, it didn't go well, about like the naming rights. Like it hinted more of like a conflict between them that's bigger than naming rights.
Yeah.
And then Yelena was like, oh, no one's even telling us about what's going on with this outer space issue. Bob's there. Bob says his whole like, oh, I can't really be Sentry without. And then and then we get the Yelena talking to the thing, and we see a ship coming to Earth, and it's the Fantastic Four's ship.
It's this interdimensional spacecraft or whatever it was.
No, it wouldn't be extra dimensional, because interdimensional would mean it was coming from our dimension.
Oh, okay. It was definitely something dimensional, and they literally made it a point that it was something dimensional. So it's like,
the main thing here is the point of there's some kind of beef about the name of who's the Avengers, as well as the Fantastic Four showing up in their ship, were the main two takeaways from this. I don't know, what were your guys' kind of thoughts on that post-credit scene?
Yeah, I mean, I like what I just said. It adds to that conflict that we're seeing, that split. I think it's kind of a fun build. I think this movie's going to help those next kind of couple of films a lot more than the rest that are coming out. But I just think it's funny that this film, even with their own marketing, I mean, I guess they're just known for spoiling everything. Yeah, it was a cool end credit scene, but now, I mean, we just know everything that's basically happening in this Fantastic Four film. So I really wonder how we're going to enjoy it, because now we know everything almost. I mean, the trailers just keep showing so much, and then, well, they lose now. They lose, and then they leave.
I mean, but like, I feel like everyone's been knowing this without even.
Okay, but still, all right. We knew Taskmaster was probably going to die, but we didn't at least get 100% confirmation.
Come on.
Gone but not forgotten.
That's the thing, is that we know how that it happens. You just don't know how it happens. So like, that was a shock that it was like immediately within the first 2 minutes of the movie, Ghost just phases and then just pops her straight in the fucking noggin. The death, yes, was abrupt, but we all knew she was dying pretty quickly, and we all kind of figured probably before leaving that facility she was dead. So was Ghost shooting her? Was like, yeah, but it was like, kind of knew when the fight started. A trailer where she shows up in that penthouse scene too. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago.
Just saying.
We all knew she was dead quick. We all knew she wasn't leaving that compound. Yeah, come on now.
I know.
And like you said, Fantastic Four feels the same way. I feel like we have a good idea of the flow of what's going to happen.
But at the same time, we are getting introduced to these new iterations of the characters. So it is nice to kind of get a movie with them before, obviously, Doomsday. Kind of like the Thunderbolts. They've had, like, at least they've had other appearances in the MCU before they formed into this group here in this movie. Whereas the Fantastic Four, they haven't been in a prior project before. So,
well, I mean,
it's like, Well, this
We
iteration.
always saw it was their ship, though, to be honest. We could be thrown off. Maybe they're not in the ship.
Yeah.
True. Could be the Silver Surfer instead. Shocker.
It could be nobody. It could just be like automatic because he's so smart. He was like, yo, just send the ship and give somebody a warning. Like, yo,
Thanos is coming.
watch out.
Yeah, Thanos is coming for sure. I liked that that came out that the Russos directed it because I was like, okay, so that's cool. And also I like the looks of them. You know, like obviously it's 14 months later. They're being established as this Avengers team, whether that's the Avengers or like the B team Avengers or whatever the newspaper clippings were saying. But I like the looks that the Russo brothers are giving them, and I'm hoping that they at least resemble that kind of look going into Doomsday, especially since I think he did say that it was on the set of Doomsday, so I feel like it's gonna feel almost like, yeah, we're gonna take those exact same looks. And
What do you mean by that? What was?
that scene was filmed like 3 weeks prior to the release of the movie, which would have been when they were doing pre-production for Doomsday. So it was on the set of Doomsday.
I don't know if that's accurate.
And when did you guys shoot that? Like last week?
Dude, literally, I think like 3 weeks, feels like maybe 3 weeks before it came out.
Wow.
Or something.
Okay.
3.5 or something. Yeah, it was. I was like, holy cow, this is. And they put it together quick.
That's what he said.
That seems
I'm
way
saying.
too close.
Well, so he said that it was literally weeks ago. It was very, very recent that they filmed that, and they added it at the end of the movie. So I don't know. All I'm saying is, if that is true, and that's literally like on that set, then there's a good possibility that their looks in that are going to be very close to what they're going to look like in Doomsday. And if that's
Yeah,
the
you would
case,
hope so.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, you would
Especially
hope
with
that they
like
keep
Bucky's
it.
like their like suits, like the new Avengers logo, and with obviously Bucky's arm having like that like star. I fuck with it. I do fuck with it.
I will say I'm a little kind of torn on the whole Bucky Sam argument in this thing, because it kind of, to me, was like, okay, once again, we're just kind of pushing this narrative out of nowhere. The whole point of Falcon and Winter Soldier were these two like coming close and accepting each other. So
But
like,
then
for
again,
this
I
to be
think
like,
about
oh,
it, it's
we're
like-
fighting.
No, it's the whole
Bucky's
point.
on a team with John Walker, who they had a conflict with in that show, so it's like Sam might take that as a slight, even though Bucky's coming from like a good place. It's like you have.
It's not even that,
John Walker.
Alex. It's about the fact in his own movie he has a whole rant about the fact that he has to start the Avengers, and he's having a spiel about the fact how can he live up to this mantle, and then he sees on the news, on a news briefing, that he's starting an Avengers team. And then Bucky's obviously in an awkward place because he wants to be close to Val, and then also the fact, yeah, there isn't an Avengers squad. So I think, yeah, if it's done right, it makes sense to me.
That's
I
my
agree.
issue. That's my issue with the whole thing. If done right, yes.
But right now, it has been done right. For me, it works.
For me, it doesn't work yet. We're forcing. To
It's
me,
not forced. It makes
it's
sense.
forcing. It's forcing.
If you're talking to, you're basically like only guy that can understand you, especially from the show, all the scenes that he's talked about, the fact that he feels
And that
like
one
how can
scene
he
he
live
was
up
in.
to Cap and the Shield.
Okay,
in
but
the
what
movies.
I am saying is we have in. This is going to be a whole thing that we're not going to go super far into right now because this video will be super long. But I'm just saying, real quick, we have Captain America. We got a lot going on. Bucky's there. They hug. They're like, yeah, this is great. He doesn't mention anything about the situation at hand. The president is the Hulk and stuff, and he just dips. It's like, okay, what is their dynamic? And then once again in this one, we get Bucky gets a call from Mel being like, yo, bring everyone. We have a huge problem. Bucky doesn't reach out to Captain America, Sam Wilson. And then he goes in and fights somebody. It's like, once again, another opportunity where you two could have talked if you're as close as you are. So for me, it's like, it doesn't work if all of a sudden, like, Bucky's apparently starting like a new Avengers and Sam feels slighted. It's like, you guys really aren't all that close as we were led to believe, because this is now twice where you have both been in the situation of they could help each other and they don't reach out. So I'm like,
See,
we had this great friendship and now they're nothing.
That's more of a critique of Cap movie than this one. This
Nah,
movie happens.
this
in a
one
day.
is the same thing.
Literally in a day.
Bro, he was over in wherever that mining thing was in Malaysia and had to get back to the US with a call of call anybody. That's fuck ton of time for a guy who has a vibranium flying suit to give him a call and be like, yo, meet us in New York. We got an issue. Sam Wilson could have been there real quick.
I don't think so for this.
Listen, you're going to be blinded by it because that makes 100% perfect sense. You're being blinded. That's fine.
No,
we'll move on.
It's not. This
But
movie is way shorter.
overall,
especially when it comes to Cap.
Right.
That's
the
more
flight
than
from
the
Malaysia
Cap.
to the U.S. is definitely something that you couldn't
Yeah,
call
I think
Captain America, who is constantly in the United States with a flying vibranium suit who can go the speed of. We literally saw in his movie he broke the sound barrier flying, but he couldn't give him a call and fly to New York.
Then we should just shit on this whole film entirely because there's Daredevil in New York, Spider-Man's in New York, Hawkeye's in New York, and the Void and all this shit happened. Nobody makes an appearance. Let's just not fucking like any of these movies at all.
Fair. Go ahead.
So
That's a take you could
your
take.
rating should be below 5.
Who said it's not?
I'm just saying, if it was longer than a 2-day span, because that's what it feels like it literally is when it comes to when Bucky makes an appearance, of where he gets fully involved. And really, when he grabs the team, it's just a quick day experience. To me, that's okay to make that exclusion of Sam Wilson.
Plus, Bucky didn't even have a plan. When Red Guardian asked him what the plan was, he just looked at him and he was like, "Boom, swerve right into the building." That was a fun scene too. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna hold that against it. I don't know. I feel like, to me, if a movie executes what it's set out to do, and it doesn't include the obvious, like the certain characters, like Spider-Man, obviously because of rights issues or whatever, and then Sam or whatever other characters in New York. But I enjoyed the movie itself. I'm willing to kind of give it a pass for it. Whereas if it's like not that great of a movie, yeah, you start to be like, well, then why didn't you just bring in this character or this aspect to maybe improve the movie overall? That's when, it becomes a bigger issue. But to me, I did not care. Like, I thought I would, and I think that's how we all felt, especially after Captain America, where we're like, well, now this is happening in New York. Obviously, the thing in Daredevil happened in New York, so like we kind of thought that that's how we were gonna feel. But I at least for me, I didn't end up feeling that way. So that's just
listen. I would have been fine without the post-credit scene mentioning Sam and the argument, the forceful argument. I would have been fine with it in the moment. I was fine with it. Then we do a post-credit scene 14 months later, and we're forcing this fight. I don't think it's being super well done, and I don't have confidence it will be well done because I don't think that's going to be, when we get to Doomsday, at least I'll be a little bit annoyed if that's a huge part of explaining that whole thing, because we got a lot of other issues to go to, which means that's going to get skipped over. But yeah, I feel like that'll definitely be a future topic, kind of talking about if we are going to get two different Avengers, who's Sam going to kind of recruit for his Avengers. Obviously, all we know is Joaquin Torres' Falcon will definitely be a part of his team, but I feel like that'll probably be something in the future. We talk about kind of what that, whatever Avengers you want to call Sam Wilson's one now compared to this new Avengers kind of thing.
Just keep it Avengers and then new Avengers just to kind of make it.
And then the Young Avengers.
Oh, God. The West Coast Avengers.
Young Avengers would win in a fight. But I feel like at this point, nothing else to do but give our ratings and get out of here. So for me, enjoyed this movie. I gave it an 8.4 out of 10, as it definitely was, like we talked about, a good feeling to go into a Marvel movie having some optimism and leaving that Marvel movie happy with what you saw.
I kind of go around the same thing. I'm going to give it an 8.6.
Wow. All right. It's maybe a shocking one, guys. As being the fan of this film for so long, I have the lowest rating. I give it a 7.1 out of 10. I think it's pretty still solid, but I think really my main critiques is the fact that I have to defend against Blake at all for it. Is why is it in New York? There was no reason to keep it in New York. I had to criticize other movies for it. I'm going to criticize it and mark it off points just because of that too. Did not need to be in New York for the plot.
The Watchtower had to be in New York.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you show that in the end credit scene and be like, now she owns that. But you do not need, not any of Sentry's part of his story had anything to do with New York in the whole film. Leave the fuck alone.
Well, she brought him to New York when he was knocked out because that's where she works out of, and in the comics, Sentry works out of the Watchtower. So it makes a lot of sense for his character. He has to be in New York for Val to oversee him because that's where Val works out of and buys it, and that's where Sentry runs out of.
I just think it's for me. I think it could have just been done somewhere else for this movie.
But yeah, but then you would have got the other crowd that would have been like, but it's not coming accurate. Why wouldn't you just have it be in the Avengers Tower that we've been wanting to know who bought the Avengers Tower for like the last 10 years?
You can say it wasn't finished. She has other facilities. Go there. It's somewhere else. We've talked about multiple still facilities she has open. Go there. Does not need to be in New York. Did not need to be. I'm tired of New York. If I see New York one more goddamn time in a single film, I'm giving it a 0.
I think Fantastic Four takes place in a different dimensions, New York.
Well, that's okay. They're the only heroes, at least in that goddamn one. There's no Spider-Man.
That we know of. Maybe that's what they've been hiding from us in these trailers.
Oh, Venom.
I hope. Please.
Well, you're just gonna see
That's going to be an automatic 10 for
Blake.
like.
Can you imagine?
He can't die.
It would be so funny if they brought him and he just dies.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. Our long review of other things amongst Thunderbolts was in this review somewhere. But as always, let us know in the comments down below what you thought of the movie. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.